So today we're talking about the Bersa Thunder 380. This is a legendary gun modeled very closely to James Bond's gun, the Walther PPK.
Then from now on you carry a different gun. Show him, Amra.
Walther PPK. 7.65 mil with a delivery like a brick through a plate glass window. Takes a Brausch silencer with very little reduction in muzzle velocity. The American CIA swear by them.
And before we bust into this gun, what we're going to do is go ahead and take that magazine out. And always we're going to check that chamber to make sure that it is empty and unloaded. Just for everybody's information, there is no live ammunition in the room. First of all, what you're gonna notice inside of the box here is you are gonna receive your trigger lock. You're gonna receive a key, we'll talk about that in a second. You're gonna receive your single stack 7-round capacity magazine, and you're gonna receive a user manual that actually has a lot, mostly just about firearm safety and handling a firearm safely in general. Not a whole lot of descriptions about the firearm itself. So we'll kind of get into this. First of all, one of the coolest things besides this, looking and feeling like a Walther PPK, it's just a little bit bigger than James Bond's gun, just a little bit bigger than that PPK. First of all, it feels great in the hand. If you take a look at the grips here, they extend a little bit from the gun, and these are interchangeable. You can get different grips here. It just feels really great in the hand, especially for a single stack 380 that it is. The second coolest part I think about the whole thing is, for those who have kids at home or go on vacation or leave the house for any given amount of time, it has this lock on it that will lock the whole system down so that you cannot use it, even if it gets stolen from your vehicle or stolen from a home, it can't be used. A couple other features that you're gonna see, first of all, on your slide stop here, it's actually extended. So it makes it very easy for you to just push the slide stop forward if you want to get the slide forward that way, or to lock it back. It's very, very easy to actually push into place because of that extended slide stop there. I don't know if we can see that in the video, but it feels really good and it's really simple to slide that slide back. Another thing to note is your magazine release is kind of tucked out of the way. So as you are operating that firearm, you're not going to accidentally press that magazine while you're shooting. Even with me with the big hands, I can't, easily press that on accident. So it's a good placement for somebody that's going to be, not wanting to accidentally take that magazine out while you're shooting and, accidentally drop that magazine if it's in your purse or you're carrying it under duress. Another thing you're going to notice is it does have a manual decocker on it. So here's your safety, your thumb safety on it. Red is dead, obviously, but as you can see where, the hammer is locked back. And when you initially load this firearm, if you take your rounds, you pop in the magazine and, you've got a round in the chamber, your hammer is going to be locked back to the single action mode. That brings your trigger further back. The benefit to you is that you have a shorter trigger pull to actually release that trigger, right? Watch the trigger on our release here. All we have to do is move the trigger to this position right here, and that hammer is depressed. Whereas if it was in the double action mode, you've got to bring that hammer all the way back. So it leads to a more accurate shot placement in that single action mode. This trigger system is a traditional single action, which means the trigger can operate in either single action, the mode that it's in now, or double action, the mode that it's in now. But most of the time you're going to be in that single action mode because every time the gun is fired, the slide's going to come back and reset that hammer into single action mode unless it's empty or the gun malfunctions. So that single action trigger feels really good. It's actually very impressive for a gun of this budget. But if the hammer is cocked back and you're about to carry it, you're about to holster it, put it somewhere in your vehicle or your home in case of emergency, you may want to tuck on that thumb safety, which what it's going to do is it's also going to decock that hammer. Right, it's going to bring that hammer forward and place a bar between the hammer and the firing pin so that there's no chance, even if it's dropped or if you release that hammer with the decocker, there's no chance that it could possibly strike that firing pin, making it a safe feature. I also like the rounded trigger. Okay, the reason that you really want that rounded trigger is that in order to be effective at shooting, you've got to follow the 5 fundamentals, which are aiming, breath control, hold control, trigger control, and follow through. Follow through and trigger control are some of the 2 most important of the fundamentals. And so when you've got your finger on the trigger, that rounded trigger is actually going to keep your finger exactly the same place every single time. And so that rounded trigger actually is a very effective way to maintain that consistency. Follow through is maintaining consistency before, during, and after the shot placement. And that trigger that's rounded allows you to have that. Now the platform this is built off of, and I'll just go ahead and tear it down for you. The platform that this is built off of is called a blowback feature. And that's actually really interesting to note. So what we're gonna do to tear it down, we're gonna pop the lever down here, we're gonna pull the slide back, up and back at the same time. You're gonna notice a fixed barrel, and this spring is pretty much fixed there. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get it off. You can get it off to clean and to maintain, and you are definitely gonna wanna clean it. This is brand new. You definitely wanna clean it before you shoot it because it comes with all that nasty grease on it from the factory. You know, it's not a bad design, it's just different. And again, it's modeled after that PPK, which is a very similar design here. So to get this back on, we're just gonna pop that spring back into place, slide it all the way back, and then make sure that your takedown lever is down, bring it all the way back and down, takedown lever back up, and you're back into position. A final safety feature about this particular gun is going to be that you've got a magazine disconnect, which means even if the magazine is not in the gun, and you've got the slide forward, you've got the safety off, you've got the hammer back, the trigger is going to do nothing because the magazine disconnect. And so the benefit to you or the shooter that you're getting this for is, look, if you're going to clean it, you forget that there's a round in the chamber and you're taking it apart, you accidentally pull that trigger, it can't possibly. The sight on this particular firearm, they are fixed sights. You can adjust the rear sight for windage. You cannot adjust it for elevation. So they are adjustable, rather not fixed sights. The front is a fixed post, but the rear you can adjust for windage. They're not night sights, but they do have a low profile, but you can see them pretty accurately. All in all, for the budget of the Thunder 380, I do recommend this firearm. It's got a steel slide and some sort of alloy frame here, but it just feels great in the hand. And again, for the budget that you can invest in this, it makes a great truck gun, makes a great concealed carry gun. Women absolutely love this gun because of the ease of use to pull the slide back, release the slide, and to lock it back. But I wouldn't classify it as, you know, as just a gun for ladies, right? But it just it's just an all-around phenomenal firearm for the price, and with those safety features, you just can't go wrong with the Thunder 380.